Good evening, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you, Griff. Cynthia, good to see you. Audacious Amber, good to see you. And everybody else that's in the chat, good to see you in here. I am Nighthawk. I am your host tonight. And we're doing this because we didn't get a chance to do the Sunday morning Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew show. So I just decided to extend it to a Monday night. So here we are. Okay. Let me get rid of the disclaimers. Roger, good to see you. Copyright disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act. The Fair Use Act is, of course, the Copyright Act of 1976. High Strange, this podcast channel, and all the podcasts on the channel declare fair use of any and all content, that's any and all content, including the music, to be used for the sole purposes of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only. And let's not forget the entertainment value. Per Section 17, subsection 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, otherwise known herein as the Fair Use Act. Ooh, that's a mouthful. All right, let me get that off of there. All righty, let's see here. Bear with me, folks. It has been a heck of a time over the weekend. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting sick and tired of rain already. Seems like it rains every minute of every day. I feel like I'm living in the Seattle, Washington area. So, anyways, we are going to talk about Bigfoot tonight, okay, guys? I know it's something that I haven't covered that much lately because it's been covered so much, but, and I am no ways and means anybody's expert. I am just using my experiences, personal experiences, being in the woods, interacting with them, okay? Plain and simple, it's just my interaction with them and what I've learned, okay? So let's begin. All righty. First thing I want to do is this is an extended one, the part 2 of the first one, okay? Now, in the first part of the Bigfoot series, I let everybody know the 4 distinct types, okay? We have the big, humongous, mean ones in Alaska, all the way down to into the British Columbia, Vancouver Island, that area, and into Washington and possibly even Oregon, which are anywhere from, they've been reported to be up to 20 feet tall. Okay. That's what they've been reported as. That's not what I've seen them as. Okay. So I would guess to say the average height is probably around 12 feet tall. Okay. If I were in Alaska, okay, with working with the Bigfoot up there. They are basically like a big, hairy ape. Okay. They do walk on 2 legs occasionally, but most of the time they will walk on all 4s like a bear. And they move fast. And some of the smaller ones will stay in the treetops to avoid human interaction altogether. So, or to just be out of reach, or to ambush predator, be an ambush predator. So then you got the small ones that came up from South America. Okay. They usually are the ones that you find around the southern area of the United States in the swampy areas. They're smaller. They're smaller in stature, but they're still strong and big. I mean, they're bigger than humans. But they average about 7 to 8 feet tall in maximum height. And they are very, very mean, very, very vicious. If I lived in a swamp, had to fight gators and panthers and God knows what else, snakes and stuff for food and survival, I'd be an SOB too. Okay. Then you have what I like to call the human ones, more of the Denisonova man. Okay. the more like a Neanderthal, 9 to 10 feet tall, human looking face, eyebrow ridge is protruding, flat nose, dark skin, usually dark haired or red haired, or like a brownish color. Um, it's been my observation from seeing these things so much and interacting with them, being Native American, that the human looking ones, their hair will gray just like ours do. Okay. Um, so I'm not sure what age it would start to gray, but there are instances where you're going to see gray and white haired Bigfoot. So because they're the older ones. Okay. And that's just from observations again. And then you have what everybody calls the Gugwe. Okay. This is a mean, nasty, snout looking Bigfoot. Looks more like a bear than a Bigfoot, but it could be misconstrued as a dog man too. Um, but they have the snout like a baboon snout, maybe a little shorter. They're real strong, real muscular, 9 to 10 feet tall, and very, very mean. They do not want to be having anything to do with humans, and when humans are around, I mean, be prepared to either get hurt or end up missing. Okay, plain and simple. Um, anyways, that's the four distinct types. Okay, that I'm familiar with, and that the Native American part of my family is familiar with. Okay, um, they are nocturnal. Okay, for the most part. They do, if they're out in the middle of nowhere, they're going to go out in the middle of the day too. So I mean, as long as they're safe, that they don't feel that there's any humans around. Okay, but they are mostly nocturnal. That's usually when they go and do their things. They do their hunts and stuff, either in the evening, or early in the morning before the sun comes up. Okay. Let's see here. They have a lot of skill. And believe it or not, most of the skill that they've gotten over the years, thousands of years, as a matter of fact, some of the stuff they've learned right from First Nations, okay, from indigenous people, from wherever they are, okay. Those structures you see everybody saying they find in the wilderness and all that. Um, all the structures are built kind of like, let me see here. Let me pull it up here. And what I mean are the teepee structures, okay? And I'm going to show you what I mean. Let me see. There is a teepee structure, okay? Now, granted, that's that don't look really big, but in this picture, supposedly was taken in Colorado, by the way. So if you come across something like that in Colorado, you got Bigfoot, Sasquatch in your area, okay? There have been a lot of reports in Colorado too lately. But these structures are built just like our teepees were from the plains. Okay. They modeled it after our design. Okay. And we also modeled our design from them too. Okay. We never knew that we could cut down pole pine and use it to hold the smoke flaps open and keep the frame and the structure of the teepee, in a mobile way. But we learn from each other. You're going to find some of them that like to basically make structures like domicile, like a wikia. Okay. Some of them will make it high up, like 8 feet off the ground, in a tree, and the rest of a tree, a big branch, and they'll just make like a big grass nest. Okay. Looks like a grass cave. The Grass Man in Ohio. He is well known. In fact, he's called the Grass Man because of that. He actually, or they actually, take grass growing and they make the structure kind of like kind of like the Navajo do. Okay, in the their domes and stuff that they use. Okay, um, and the Seneca people also have the longhouse. I have seen them attempt to do a longhouse, but the way they make it, it's not made to last. It's made to fall apart. Sometimes that's why you're going to see trees that are crossed or in parallel and fallen on top of each other, because they will take those structures down completely and make it look like something never was even there. Okay. Those structures usually can house, I don't know, probably 10 to 15, maybe 20 of the Sasquatch Bigfoot. Um, let's see. Another good one. Another good one is the stone stacking. And I kind of touched on this previously. Okay. Now, the stone stacking, that's something that we as indigenous people do, or at least my family does. We stack stones, and on one stone, and the whole stack is going to be pointing one way. Okay. Usually the one oddball stone that sticks out at you. Okay. I probably shouldn't be saying this, but that's the direction that we went. That's a direction marker. Okay. Um, Bent over, busted, if anybody ever tracked game, when you come across a broken branch or a sapling, or leaves on the ground, that fell off of a tree too early, that are still green, that's the way that they went. Okay. That's a way of showing my ancestors, my relatives, if I break a small little sapling's branch and bend it down, I went that way. Okay. If the bend is this way, I went that way. Okay. If the rock is this way on top of another rock, I went that way. Okay. So that's pretty much what those signal devices are. Okay. The rock stack piles. Um, I've even basically made stuff. I hand make stuff and I will leave it somewhere, or I'll give it to other investigators to use to kind of interact with them a little bit more, to break the ice. The human looking ones are very, very gifting oriented. Okay. Very, very curious. They love to work with their hands. Okay. They make all kinds of stuff with their hands. They make things out of grapevine. They make things out of willow, all kinds of stuff. They'll take the willow bark off the tree, okay, and they'll use the underside of the red willow tree bark for a painkiller, but yet they'll take the other strips of the bark off the tree and they'll make these intricate woven patterns. Um, I've even seen sandals that were like size 20, sandals that were made in a woven pattern out of bark, okay, and out of all kinds of stuff. The tall grasses are another one for basket weaving. They love to work with their hands, okay? They're family oriented. Okay, I covered that last time. They're very protective of their family, but they're not mean, okay? They're cautious. When you see a human looking one and they're chasing you away from their family or away from knowing what they're up to. Okay. That's why they're doing it. Um, Whenever hunters come across them, and there's a problem, and there always is a problem whenever hunters come across them, because none of them, no matter what region you're talking about that they came from, like hunters in their woods. Okay, plain and simple. It's their woods. It's their hunting camp. We're we're the imposing people coming in and doing the hunts. Okay, making all the noise and I can imagine that they've had quite a few hunters that have left the proverbial beer can mess around too. So, but it's such a screwed up thing though when mankind interacts with them most of the time, unless you are privy to some knowledge, some understanding of how they function. You're going to find a lot of experts out there, which I'm not one of them. Okay, I'm just one guy that interacted with a bunch of them. Okay, um, you're going to find a lot of experts out there that will disagree with me. But you know what? If they gift you, gift them back. Don't ignore the gift because you're only going to make them mad. Okay, and then they're going to get spiteful and start doing things. I had a buddy that had a tree business, and he used to go out in the middle of nowhere, in God's country, and trim the trees back off the power lines and stuff that ran through the country. And they even have helicopters that trim them too from above. But he was into trucks and stuff. These big 4-wheel drive trucks with the big chipper shredders on them. And one time he left all of his equipment there, and he didn't pick up a gift that they left for him. On one of the pieces of equipment, they left feathers, and if they gift you feathers, you gift feathers back. Okay, or something along that lines. Um, Anyways, make a long story short, the crew showed back up. All 7 of these guys showed back up the following morning, only to find all their equipment pushed over and basically manhandled to the point where they couldn't use half of it. It got ruined. Um, I've seen them able to basically pop tires off the rim. I've seen them pick up, I mean, not a boulder, but I mean a good sized rock. You're talking like something like 100 pounds, and throw it like it's a pebble. I've seen them pull down trees, and I'm not talking saplings that are that big around. I'm talking trees that are this big around. Okay. Um, a lot of camping stuff that I've done over time. Let me see who we got in the chat now. Glades Creatures, good to see you. Mr. Saturn, good to see you. Juno, my brother, good to see you. Steven, good to see you. Anyways, I just wanted to come on tonight basically to go over a few things. I always stress, and this is just the Native American in me coming out. I always stress that they know you're going to their area before you know you're going to their area. Okay, if that makes sense. And I'm not saying they can read minds and do all this mind stuff. Okay. Um, to me, that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, we need to pull together and just prove that they do exist, and they do. But you know, when you're dealing with a cryptid creature, it's all speculation. It's all guesswork. It's all just basically trying to make some sense out of, first off, what they are, how long they've been here, why they're here, okay, how they survive, what do they eat, what do they drink, what do they, what is their family structures like? I mean, these are all things that people that do the researching have to think about constantly when they're out in the field. Okay, it's not just going out into the field and putting up trail cameras and a little bit of peanut butter on a in a jar on a stump and then walking away. It's more than that. Okay, and yes, science has said over and over again that they will not be proven unless they have a body on the slab. Well, you know what? You think breaking a mirror is 7 years bad luck? Try shooting one of them and killing one of them. Then you'll find out what bad luck is. Okay, and how long it can last. It can last for generations. Okay, now there is There is one story that I'm going to tell you guys um, that talks about the first medicine man and how the first medicine man was a bear. Okay. And this bear knew what kind of herbs to eat when it was sick and knew what kind of bark to take and chew on for toothaches and, all kinds of stuff, And the native people learned from the bear because the bear was the first medicine man. And they called it a man because it did walk on two legs. Okay. Now, here's the thing with that legend. Okay. That legend could possibly be the Gugway. Okay. Or it could possibly be just a Bigfoot in general. Okay. Um, but we always called it the bear man. Okay. And there is some speculation that it is a Gugway, because they can get misconstrued as bear man. But anyways, the bear man was the first medicine man. Okay. And all the indigenous people learned from the bear. They learned what herbs to use for healing, what herbs to use for cleansing your spirit. What herbs are edible, what barks are edible. How to make teas out of certain things. Just all kinds of stuff. All right. Anyways, these three hunters went up to the elders, and the elders told them, these young hunters, if you're going to go out on a hunting party to hunt for game, don't shoot the bear. Stay away from the bear. Well, these three hunters were pretty prominent hunters, but they were young, young warriors, they were cocky and all that. Figured they were good to go. Anyways, it went on for days, and then days turned into a week. And a week of basically miserable hunting conditions, no game being seen, nothing to eat really or to drink really. So they were pretty frustrated after about 7 days of not seeing anything. And lo and behold, they come across the bear and they watch the bear. And one of the hunters, out of frustration, said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shoot the bear and we're going to cook the bear up. And then we're going to take the meat back to our people, and we're not going to say anything. So the other two agreed. They were hungry, they were starving, and they were, needed to have something to take back to the people. So the one warrior puts a couple arrows into the bear and ends up killing the bear. And they pull the bear into the camp and they process the bear, hang the bear skin up, and process all the meat. Put the meat in beaver pelts, carrying bags, insulated, from the fur. And then they take a part of the meat and they chopped it up and they made it into like a broth with the water and put it in a pot and put the lid on the pot. And then after about 2 hours, the pot lid started shaking, started doing this, rattling and rattling, making all kinds of noise. So the one hunter walked up to the pot and he took the lid off the pot, and 1,000,000 mosquitoes came out of the pot. That story not only gives us the meaning for why the mosquito was made to be a pest to man for killing the first medicine man, but it also shows you the spiritual strength of the bear, and its medicine is strength. So that basically is one of the stories that I grew up hearing. Okay. I've heard other stories about them coming into encampments when our hunters are out and basically carrying off our young, or grabbing a woman and carrying her off. Um, I don't believe that they eat humans, although we taste like pork, but I don't believe that they eat us. I believe that they use our basic genes to basically enhance their family size, if you know what I mean. Mating, pretty much. Okay. And they still, there was a case on, I think it was Rosebud. There was a Bigfoot case where this female Bigfoot would come out early in the morning, like 4:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, and she would sit out in the middle of this field under the moonlight and just wail all night and all morning long, okay, until the sun would start to come up, and then she would disappear into the pole pine. And you know, finally somebody figured it out that this female Bigfoot was coming out into that field and wailing and crying all the time because she had lost her child at birth. Okay. And I do believe that when they do abduct children, that they are taking them to replace a loss that they suffered. Okay. There have been cases of children back in the old days being abducted, and days later the children found dead, but basically of natural causes, because the kids wouldn't eat what they would eat, and the way they took care of themselves wasn't the way that these kids were shown by their real parents how to take care of themselves. You know what I mean? So they would die of cold exposure, um, frostbite, all kinds of, because they didn't have fur. Okay. And they didn't have any heat because they didn't know how to make fire. Okay. So let me see who else is in the chat. We got more. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do this and go through. Hey, Dave, Penny, good to see you. All right. Let's see who else is in the chat. I'll put a couple of these up. I see you guys are all saying hello to each other. Oh, they don't bite your dad, but they bite you. Well, that's probably because your dad knows a couple tricks up his sleeve. So if you eat garlic, mosquitoes won't touch you. Okay. Also, back in the old days, we would take bear grease and we would put that bear grease with peppermint, herbs, and we would rub it together on our skin. And the smell of the peppermint and the bear grease would make us too slippery and too stinky for mosquitoes to even touch us. So that's a little trick. I'm sure Juno knows that. Let me see here. I'm just going through some of the comments. Sorry, guys. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, that story about the mosquitoes and all that just basically shows the way that my people looked at it. Okay. The way my people and my ancestors thought about the bear and about every living creature. Okay. We just didn't kill to kill. In fact, no indigenous person kills to just kill. First off, we use everything that we hunt. Okay. We use the bladder of the buffalo that we used to hunt. We used them for water jugs, believe it or not. We use the hides for teepees and for clothing and for footwear and all kinds of stuff. Okay. Lodging. We used the sinew for bowstrings and for sewing and all that. We used to split the horn and make needles out of them. In fact, there's porcupines used to hate me because I'd go up with those big styrofoam brushes or not brushes, but sponges that you use to wash your car with. And I'd sneak up behind them and I'd prick them in the back of it, and I'd get all these needles on this sponge, and I'll be able to make things out of the needles. So that's just a little trick, in case you come across the porcupine. But I used to make porcupine quill chokers with them too. So, and I'm sure Juno has too, or Juno's seen them, one of the two. But anyways, yeah, the Bigfoots that I interacted with from childhood on up are pretty much the human and the Gugway. Yes, they're mean, but if you give them their due respect, they're not going to harm you. And if you don't back down, they're not going to harm you either. You may get pelted with some rocks and stuff and have a branch thrown at you like I had, but it is what it is. We either learn to share the world with them or we learn to do it without. So, but anyways, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about tonight. Now, has anybody gotten ready for the April 8th thing? Because I don't know about you, but I've been doing a little bit more research on the whole solar eclipse thing. And not only is it a solar eclipse, but it's like 7 planets lining up in a straight row for the first time in in the first time in over, what they say, 2,000 years. So, yeah. So, yeah, them little buggers can be mean and nasty when they want to be, man. But yeah, always carry down. I always had a big sponge, the kind that you wash your car with, that's like that thick, and that big around, and just go up behind them and, yep, that way you don't injure them. But anyways, let me see here. Huh. Really, glades creatures? That's unusual. Must be his blood type then. He must eat a lot of garlic. He's probably eating a lot of garlic. He's probably just not telling you what the secret is. But no, I mean, if you eat garlic and you can actually keep the mosquitoes away from you. And bear grease and the peppermint herb that actually does work as a it actually works as not only for like biting mosquitoes, but it works for them little those little gnats that buzz around your head. There's like 50 of them swarming around you in the heat of the day. It gets rid of them too. So, oh, that's right, at work. Um, yeah, Cynthia. Basically, everybody's got like I believe everybody's got olive oil, right? Okay, what you want to do is just take and put the name of God on your forehead, okay, which is Yahweh, okay, or Yeshua, okay, which is the Hebrew word for Jesus, okay. Yeshua is the Hebrew word, and the reason I say it in Hebrew is because that's the old dialect, the Aramaic type of speaking, okay. So, um, in fact, I'll put it in the chat on how to spell it, okay. That way you guys have it in the chat. Yeah, Mr. Saturn. Yeah, I know about CERN. Talked about that the other day. They're actually, and it's not just them. I mean, there's several different things that are happening during the eclipse too. And the first thing I got to talk about is CERN. Okay, how they're going to put on the Hadron Collider, and they're going to basically try to open up the bottomless pit. Um, they've done it before. Why not do it again? You know, it's fun. Yeah. Anyways, you got CERN doing that. And at the same time, you've got NASA, uh, or I like to call him Satan, shooting 3 rockets off into the shadow of the eclipse. What are they planning on hitting? I mean, usually when you shoot rockets at something, it's a fight you're picking. Think about that. Do they know something that we don't know? Probably. And then on top of those 2 things, you have the 2 different types of cicada bugs that are going to be coming out, and a lot more, like 4 times as many as previously. So I mean, yeah, we got that going on. You got the Satan meteor coming through. You know, you got all kinds of weird stuff happening. But did you know that there is a prediction that Nashville, Tennessee, is going to be hit with a meteorite or something along that lines? Fire from the sky is what I was told. Yeah, Griff, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, if anybody's a ham radio operator, yeah, you might want to kick it on and just, you know, stick with it with that too. Well, if he drinks sweet tea a lot, then they would want to bite him more, I would imagine. I don't know. Depends on what kind of tea. Ask him what kind of tea it is. But I would say that they'd have a tendency to want to bite him more if he's sweet. So, but yeah, Griff, let us know how that goes, okay? Um, if the world doesn't end, I don't plan on worrying about that. But also, another way, Cynthia, to protect yourself and all that is um, black tourmaline, which I have a cross that I wear that's black tourmaline. Um, you can get that. You can get pieces of shungite. Let me see here. Shungite is black also. Okay, this is shungite. This is a little pyramid. Okay, shungite's a very good protective stone. It'll protect you from EMF signals too, so you won't feel all weird. That turquoise, Juno, turquoise. You can carry turquoise on you or wear turquoise on you as a protective stone. Um, there's several different things. But I would definitely, if you don't have anointing oil, because I have the frankincense and myrrh oil right from Jerusalem. So I'll be anointing my doors, my back door and my front door of the house on the 7th. And the reason I'm doing it on April 7th is because the number 7 is supposed to be a sacred number. Okay. There's the 7 directions, and the number 7, on the 7th day of the Bible, So it's a very special number. So I'm going to do it, probably midday on the 7th. I'll put the name of God on the doors. Um, that you have to wonder though, and this is something I've been thinking about too, about this whole ordeal on why they have the National Guard called out and all that. And I can understand to a point even having crowd control. But the National Guards, that's just a little too much. Um, what if this whole thing was, how do I want to put this? Well, you all know about Project Bluebeam, okay, where they were supposed to fake an alien invasion, okay? What if they were wanting to fake the return of the Messiah? What if all this they're doing to manipulate people all around the world? Okay. I mean, think about the number of people that look to Christianity for a religion. And you got Catholicism, you've got Pentecostal, you got the Baptist, you got Southern Baptist, you got the Methodist, you got the, you got all different kinds of people, Um, what if they were trying to manipulate us, or to make us think somebody is the Messiah? Okay. What if the whole thing's just fake? You know, I just thought about that the other day, and I was, I don't know. I don't know where I stand with this whole April 8th thing, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So, if you can make sure, oh, another thing too, for everybody out there, if you get stuck at work, um, I wouldn't really worry about it, but I would actually have some kind of water and stuff, and something to eat, and just in case you get stuck at work, if something happens, God forbid, so so you have something to fall back on. Um, I would even hazard to say, take a flashlight with you, because if the power goes out, how are you going to see when it's a solar eclipse? You know, so take a flashlight with you. Okay. Um, if you have pepper spray or anything like that, take that with you too. That's not illegal. You can carry it. Um, just think ahead of it. Okay, get ahead of it. Get ahead of it. Yeah, I just, Mr. Saturn, that's just something just doesn't seem right about the whole thing. Okay, I don't even know where to begin with. It just, I don't know. It seems too coincidental, that everything is happening the way it is. Now, it very well could be biblical, but I mean, there will be wars and rumors of war. That's happening. A third of your fish populations would be dying off, and the life in the ocean will be dying off. You're seeing fish swimming in circles, and just on the beaches of Miami and all that. I mean, I don't know if anybody ever saw that video. Literally thousands upon thousands of fish and whales beaching themselves, dolphins beaching themselves. I mean, just all kinds of stuff being washed up on shore. Um, so yeah, a third, yeah, it possibly could be a third that's already dead. But is this the real deal, or is it something that they're faking? That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay. How we doing, Kim? Good to see you. Corey, good to see you, brother. I just, I'm just going to be researching it more and more. But if you are out having to work during the solar eclipse, just go prepared. Okay, take a flashlight. Take some food and water with you. Put yourself like a day pack together. You know, kind of a return home pack. You know what I mean? Flashlight, water, enough food to feed yourself, and pepper spray if you need to keep stupidity off of you. That kind of stuff. Just be prepared. Um, it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Okay, so that's philosophy to live by, everybody. But yeah, it's going to be something. Okay, I'll probably yeah, I have three podcasts that are going to be going on before the 8th. Okay, so I will keep everybody updated on what I'm finding out through the grapevine, through some of my contacts, um, and just from doing research and stuff, what I'm finding out that possibly could happen. Thriller James, good to see you, man. Um, just be careful, okay? Um, I was told the other day that the powers that be in our country don't want anything negative said about certain a certain figurehead. Okay, I'm sure you can figure it out. And also, they don't want us talking about. Um, they don't want us saying the word Jesus or God. Um, so they're getting really selective on censoring. In fact, I've even heard that they're sending people posing as FBI agents to everybody's doors that post things on social media. Okay, that they deem could be a concern. Okay, not a threat, but a concern. Okay, so just stay on the low, and just we'll try to figure out what we're doing. Okay. Um, like I said, I'll be coming back on Friday night for Into the Red Rabbit Hole. Saturday and Sunday we have the morning brew show. Okay. Um, I'll be updating everybody before the 8th. Okay, so we got plenty of time. Just if you are stuck outside in working in during the eclipse, just like I said, make sure you got a flashlight in your bag. Just pepper spray, something along that lines. Um, Water and some food. That way you can actually make it back to your place. Okay, as safely as possible with what you have. Okay. Um, and then on the 7th, we want to make sure that we actually put the name of God um, on the door frame. Okay. In oil, you can use anointing oil, or you can even use holy water, I guess, and do it that way if you want. There's all kinds of things to the Catholics say that you need to pray all the time and do the rosary and all that during that 3 days of darkness. But I don't know if anybody else has correlated this whole time frame with from basically the bridge incident on the Francis Scott Key Bridge, and then another bridge that happened in Ohio. Um, there were signals that were sent out to us showing us that it was all going to happen. And here, I'm going to show you something. Let me see here. Is this it? No, that's not it. Okay, hold on. I'm going to show you something. Hold on. Where is it? There it is. Check out this. You know how they always say The Simpsons is predicting things? Well, look at that. They predicted that pretty damn good, didn't they? Amazing, huh? And now they say that now they're saying that there is 9 other bridges that could possibly be bumped into by a ship, okay, or something along that lines. One of them is the Golden Gate Bridge. There's one more bridge in Chesapeake area, the Chesapeake Bay Bridge that connects the naval air stations and all that, and the naval bases and stuff to Norfolk. They could knock that bridge down. Just all kinds of stuff. There's another bridge in D.C. that they're going to probably try and take out too. And honestly, I would even expect them to start messing with um, water reservoirs and places like that, because you just can't. Thriller James, good to see you, man. You just can't depend on anyone to keep us safe and our water supply safe, and our, I mean, you just can't. There's no way possible, and we're getting sent this stuff in through, like on TV and stuff. We're being told this stuff in advance, but nobody's picking up on it. I mean, think about it. That picture right there shows Homer Simpson looking at the ship that hit a bridge. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculously stupid, but you know what? Somebody's trying to let it leak out. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that whole thing, but I do know that there's a lot of signs in the skies that are happening. Here's a picture too. I don't know where this was taken, but people are seeing things like that in the sky. I mean, yeah, you could almost get an angelic feeling about that, but I wouldn't get too warm and comfy in that feeling, because I got a funny feeling we're going to be in for a hell of a ride. So, but what I will do is, like I said, next week, Friday and Saturday especially, I will update everybody on what I find out. Okay. Um, until then, just stay safe and be prepared. Be prepared for anything, you know, because anything can possibly happen. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Love you all very much. Thank you all for being here. Like, heart, and share this out. Um, and we'll see you Friday, okay? And that'll be I think I'm going to do it at 10:30 Friday night, Eastern time, okay? So everybody take care, and hopefully everything will be fine. But like I said, better to, you know, prepare for the unexpected and not have the unexpected happen than not be prepared and have it happen. Okay. So, that being said, everybody have a great night, and I will see you all Friday. Okay.